That was good. So here's what's up. We're getting some of these ideas down. Moonrock here is going to drop some
Hi.
on us.
Hello.
What? So we've been talking about new ideas for a dream city, and Rock here has a ton of great ideas for building a new dream city. And
Where
so,
everyone is happy.
right, we want to support people's happiness and really create a world where the system we live in supports the people and the people support the system, and we all do this together. So, do you want to hit them with some of your ideas?
Yes, my ideas. So,
Just spit them out. Don't even look at yourself. Just talk to me. Talk to it like you were telling me.
Basically, I was thinking like we could have like the art building I was talking about, like where everyone could like get together and like just do art for free, and there'd be like all different types of art, like music, painting, sculptures, theater, stuff like that. That would be really cool.
So you'd have a building in this community
And
that
everyone-
nurtured art. And you were saying something about how you wouldn't mind leading that group, like a place for
No,
where
I
like 3 or
wouldn't.
4
I
hours a day,
People.
young people could come and practice their creative skills.
Yeah, and the more I think about it, the more I think like anyone could join, just like different age groups, like because I feel like everyone should join.
Yeah, everyone has creative strengths, right? And everyone has some type of artistic thing inside them, and it's healthy to nurture that. So you were saying that you could expand that to grown-ups as well, and have a place for people to nurture creative ideas and dance and do art and paint and whatever. That's fantastic. You were saying something about jail reform.
Yes,
What
I
were you
was
saying about that?
thinking
Oh, no,
jail. You don't have to like film me. We can just like kind of talk. Anyway, I was thinking like jail could be more of like kind of a therapy thing instead of like just kind of this like place where you're all like isolated and punished and stuff. Like I feel like it could be like calming sessions and more like activities and things to do like chill.
So you're saying instead of looking at criminals like something you need to punish, look at them as someone you might need to help heal.
Yeah, definitely.
Instead of punishment, healing, right? Like, because really, we don't want to just hurt them or treat them like animals and slave labor and hope they come out, ladies and gentlemen. How is that? That makes no sense.
That doesn't make sense.
But they're
Like, we
obviously,
should treat them nice. Like we should be kind to them.
because obviously a lot of criminals are that way because they had no kindness in their life.
Yeah.
So we need to show them the right way.
Yeah.
Set an example. So I think that's true. You were saying something too about not having a bunch of different authority figures above you to make decisions. You were saying something about groups of people who are good at different things making the decisions and acting. Explain what you're talking
So
about.
there could be like a group of like the farm presidents, the group of like the money presidents, the group of like the technology presidents, like a bunch of like group leaders, like a bunch of groups of leaders, like people that are really good at that certain thing, and it'd be like an entire like whole system place that like decides everything, not like one guy who is really good at some of these things and not good at other things, like make all the decisions. Like no, there could be a group of people that are really good like with like the money thing, the people that are really good at the medicine thing, the people that are really good at the art thing, and like
whether it's farming or transportation or whatever it is, schooling.
Yeah.
And you're saying, so instead of having a bunch of political officials above you who might not even live in those communities, right? They all live in Washington D.C. and they don't live in your backyard. You're separate, right? You have the politicians over here and the people over here, but the people solving the problem should be the people themselves, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it makes sense.
Also, I feel like everything should be like closer together, and like the whole like leader building place like area should be closer to all the locals. Like they could just be like someone you know. Like it could be like your next door neighbor. It could be like one of the leaders.
Got it. So you're saying that like instead of having like the White House way over here, like
they're not like treated like some like far away, like distant, like God. They're treated like your next door neighbor that just happens to be like good at like this certain thing, so they're kind of like voted to be in charge.
Okay, so you're saying democratically vote that person to be in charge and let them handle that in that way, so they really represent the people because they are the people, right?
Yeah, they are the people.
And they know each other, and you could actually
like
reproach
just because someone
them.
has a good idea, I feel like if they're not a good person, they shouldn't be the leader. So you have to really get to kind of know that person to like.
Perfect. So if you don't know these people, how can you trust them?
Yeah.
We should all be.
Like, how are you supposed to trust this person with like your your money, like life, pretty much? Like, if you like don't know them, they're just kind of this. They shouldn't be this distant stranger god to you that's controlling your entire life.
Yeah, a lot of people can feel you on that. So no, that's perfect. I think that's great. And so if we were able to create a structure, kind of like I imagine, like if we have a type of social structure that requires any kind of governance, right? Instead of having what we have now, we just ditch all that, all the political parties and all the different distant groups that are getting paid to not do what we want. If instead, what if we think of it like a flower, right? Like there's these 12 petals on a flower, and each one of those 12 petals could be something like schooling, food and water, clothing and shelter, whatever.
Art, money.
Right. Nature stewardship, animal stewardship.
Food.
Right. So each one of those petals of the flower, and in the middle, right, you have
like everyone like together.
Yeah, that's the round table in the middle, right?
So
where
everyone is equal.
And everyone's equal, and that stalk, that stem of the flower is we funnel those funds and those decisions and whatever
to all the people, which is like the grass, the world.
And the roots. So it's like the real roots. And so what's more important on the flower? The roots, the petal, the stem, all of it. It's all equal.
All of it's important.
Right. So we don't value one over the other. Right.
Yeah.
So we'd have a governance flower, like a civil structure flower.
Yeah. Another thing I was
and you could actually teach government to people in like 10 minutes instead of still be confused after 10 years.
Yeah. Also, another thing I wanted to point out is I think hospitals should be less like scary and sad and depressing. I think they should be more like colorful, bright. There should be some more activities and things to do, and like more things to do. You could like get out of your bed more if it's like possible, stuff like that.
So healing needs to take on a whole new
meaning.
Yeah, and
like you have the option to like walk around. There's like good food you can have. There's like little restaurants and stuff that you can have. There's like little delis and
that should
there's
be
like
paid
activities
for.
like puzzles, art, like a little gym, like stuff like that.
A healing center, right?
Swimming.
Yeah, you could swim and meditate.
Whole fun thing.
Yeah, just a full-on healing center. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
and should there be money involved? Should only rich people get that service, or should that just be funded?
No, that should be like for everyone.
Do you think infrastructure things that we all need...
It should be worth like almost nothing, if not nothing.
Right, there should be no profit involved. So instead of thinking about making bucks, like let's say we look at it this way. Instead of having private money and rich people build the hospitals and the prisons and all that stuff, instead, what if there's no profit involved, right?
Yeah.
And anything that's infrastructure is paid for, right, through governance, right, through what we might call taxes, or even a public trust. We may not even need money. Those things are just simply provided for.
Yeah.
Like there's no payment involved. If you need to go to a doctor, you just go.
Yeah, totally. But I mean, there should always be the option to like tip people and like give them money if like you really thank them and stuff. But like it shouldn't like be like a requirement.
A gift economy, where like people give willingly to one another. Yeah. Would there be rules like a constitution, like laws, like where to make sure people remain kind and in service to others and in harmony? Like, what do you think about that?
I'm not really sure. I just feel like be nice people.
But you were also saying too that you think we might need to elect officials into places of decision making. You in fact mentioned this is your idea. You said that we might want to elect Thomas to do certain things. Right, he would have an essentially government position. Same thing with Kim. Like she knows so much about the money. Oh, was that Katana saying that?
Yeah, it was Kat.
Yeah.
You can't even tell us apart, Dad.
Well, I don't know. There was a lot of ideas floating around.
No, I'm just kidding.
But no, that's right. That's right. Well, she'll have to cover that. But it was her idea that certain folks will need to take on government positions, and we might want to elect people to those. Right. Yeah. Okay. But
I totally agree with what you were saying, though.
But they would be like a primus, wherein it's not like they're the boss of everything. It's simply when a decision needs to be made, if we're having trouble getting it democratically decided, or the votes are split, or we just need someone to act now, we would like someone to be able to oversee and be decisive in those positions. So there are certain folks we might want to actually put in positions of elected governance.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that's how these councils might be created, right? Yeah.
Agreed.
Anything else you want to throw out? That's a little bit.
I'm just saying, I feel like we should have like assisted living, should be more active. There should be more swimming, and there should be more parties, and more like
More
chances
celebration
for
of
them to be active.
life, right?
Yeah,
as
more
opposed
like
to,
more like chances to be active, like gyms. There should be like good food. There should be like dancing,
And-
dance classes, like swimming. Like
What do you think
it should
about-
just be and like there's just like it's just you get help, but you also get to like have fun.
and you can help each other there. What do you think about older folks spending more time with younger folks? Like, why do we have old people over here, kids over here? You know,
Yeah, I feel
all
like-
the people in the middle, like other teenagers in school, and the parents are over here. Like everyone's separate. Also too, what about the idea? Okay, last one about the idea that instead of having these people are always farming every day. I love you too. And these people are say being police all the time every day. We were talking about how you could have certain times where everyone pitches in.
Yeah.
And you were talking about the farming.
Yeah, like farming. Like there should be like a bunch of people that like do farming and like come there and like help with their crop and help with like the little crops and then they give it to everybody. But that person could also like work as like
they might have other
the
duties,
hospital.
but during you were saying like they might have other duties normally, but during harvest time, like everybody in the community, everybody in the village comes and
like has
picks.
the chance and like can like join and like they might not be getting paid, but like
No,
it's just,
we just do it because
yeah,
we
but
love
you like
each
give
other.
it to the community. Like you get
Right.
paid with saving people's lives and
Yeah, you're-
giving them food. And making sure
Right,
they're
so
not
you're just
starving.
taking money out of the equation, and we simply all work together to farm and create food for one another. And if the farmers in the community need help, then we just go do that.
Yeah.
It's not like, well, I'm the governor, right? I don't do that. No, we just go help, and we all know each other, and we'll work alongside each other.
We're like less
for a common
distant.
goal.
We're more like. Bloop.
Right? Because
I don't feel like our
communication.
town should be too big.
Start small, and then you could replicate best practices later.
Yeah, because I feel like if anything is like too big, I feel like that creates more distance and more like I don't know. I just feel like it creates more distance and like we're less like connected.
Right, and you want more
Like,
intimacy
You
and
kind of
working
want to
together.
be just like a really, really big family.
Yeah. So we start small, and you were saying too, by starting small, that we could correct maybe early mistakes. Like we start with start with a village, and then we figure out the nuts and bolts of that. You know, then later on, once you really nail that down and iron it out, then you can expand it to like larger cities and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this is what my 10-year-old and I are talking about today.
Yeah. Also, I feel like everyone should get paid the same, whether you're black, a female, a man, white, gay, like anything. You
What about,
you should
like-
all get paid the same, no matter what job you have.
So the president's
What
not more
race you
important than the
are.
janitor.
Yeah, you all get paid the same.
Right.
You all get paid the same.
Through like in time investment. Like if you put in
'Cause you're all
40 hours
people.
this week, that 40 hours is worth the same amount as that person's 40 hours. They just both gave it their all. And some
I
people
don't
are
feel
a little
like the
more or less
paycheck should
productive,
all
but that's
be-
okay. We're
I
different.
feel like the paycheck should be the same every time. Like if you work this amount of time, you'll get this amount of money. If you work this amount of time, you get this amount of money.
So it's consistent. You don't have like these up and down wage gaps.
Not like you work one day and then you get the same amount of money as if you work an entire week.
Right, exactly. So your time investment matters, but there shouldn't be wage gaps and class systems like rich people, poor people. We all have access to the basics. You want to build that, people? Let's build that.
Please vote yes.
We're planning.
Vote yes.
And how do you
on
vote? By getting
10
involved.
THI.
I know, THI.
There's so many one of
Oregon.
those guys.
But no, really, that's pretty dope. So, yeah. What are you talking about today? Let's get it done. Let's get these plans written down and let's make them real. We know people.
that's
We can put
only,
names
like-
and numbers to these plans.
And that's only a near handful of all the ideas we got, so...
Yeah, that's just, about 14 minutes of Moonrock here
Ideas.
popping off. We're putting
We
these
could
down.
totally make like an hour-long thing of like all of our like
Yeah.
in-depth detail.
But you don't just want to hear from us. Get
Ideas.
involved. We want to hear your ideas too.
We do want to hear your ideas, people.
So yeah, love you guys.
Hashtag speak up.
Whoa, is that a new? Okay,
I've decided.
is that what we're doing? All right.
I
Well,
made a new hashtag.
speak up. Is that new? That might be
I don't know.
taken. We're not worried about hashtags. We're just-
Hashtag new village.
New THI Village. All right, love you. I was thinking cooperative community.
Yeah, that's
THI
better.
cooperative community.
That's better.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So that's we're on that.
We're on
Let's make
that.
that happen. Draw it up and build it. Cool. All right.
Cool.
Love you.
Thank
Mwah.
you. Bye.